Jeff Bannister, the Texas Rangers, got a stopper effort yesterday from Giovanni Gallardo. They snapped a 6-game losing streak. Gallardo and the bullpen shut out the Blue Jays 4-0. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Texas Rangers. Top of the order, Sin-Shu Chu, Rougned Odor, then Prince Fielder in this series. He's had a great series, 4 for 8 in the series. He's doubled and homered in this series. His 300th career home run came on Friday night. Mitch Moreland has a 5-game hit streak. Blue Jays haven't really figured out how to get Moreland out in this series. He's had a good series against them and presents some insurance behind Fielder and Beltran.
And they pitch him away. He's been hitting away. He's also been pulling, hit a home run in yesterday's ball game. Drew Hutchison gets ready for his 16th start of 2015. He won his last start, but he wasn't very sharp. 5 innings for Drew. He battled his way through that, through 64 pitches through the first 2 innings against Tampa Bay. Blue Jays wanted to give him some extra rest after that start, so he is working on 6 days of rest in between starts. He's making his 3rd career start versus the Rangers and through his first career shutout last May against this Ranger team.
Take a look at the defense behind Drew Hutchison. Ezequiel Carrera is in left field, making his 10th start. Kevin Pillar is in center. Bautista is in right. Josh Donaldson, 71st start at third base. Reyes and Travis up the middle combined to make a terrific defensive play. Edwin Encarnacion's at first. Russell Martin makes his 59th start behind the plate for Drew Hutchison.
And we highlighted Kevin Pillar in center field in the opening, so we got to highlight him here in defense. 75 games this year, 73 starts in the outfield. Pillar, and I don't know how many great plays that he has made this year.
Drew Hutchison throws the first pitch in there, and Sin-Shu Chu hits a one-hopper to second. Well, this is one thing Hutchison has to do today. He's got to be more efficient with his pitch count. He had a rough outing last time out against Tampa Bay.
Just could not command his pitch, couldn't command the fastball, throw it where he wanted to, and then he'd overcompensate and yank pitches out of the strike zone. That's a good start right there. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Rougned Odor moves up into the 2 spot. He hit 7th and 8th in the first 2 games of this series. Had a home run and a single in yesterday's game, and there's another strike. Drew Hutchison gets pushed back a little bit. And you see his last 5 starts, pitch count too high per inning, 18.5 pitches per inning. There's a line drive to left. Carrera dives and makes a nice play on that one hopper. He's got a shot at Odor. They got him at first if they can get back. But Travis, he wasn't sure whether or not Odor was going to slide into second. He turned to tag Odor. He thought he might be there at second.
Yeah, he needed some help right there. Somebody else had to tell him just throw the ball to first base. He's concentrating on the play from the outfield. First of all, what a play by Carrera. Dives. This ball gets by him. It's 3 for sure, but he snares it and then comes up throwing. And then Travis at second base. Somebody next to him have got to tell him where that runner is so he can just come up and fire. If he does, if he comes up firing instead of trying to put the tag on, he's got him at first base.
Odor was halfway between first and second. Great effort by Carrera. Travis did what he thought was going to be tag a sliding Odor, but Odor gets back to first. 1 out, man at first for Prince Fielder. Fielder, as we mentioned, 4 for 8 in the series. Breaking ball downstairs for a ball. Fielder's in his 2nd season with the Texas Rangers, his 11th big league season overall. He spent 7 years in Milwaukee, 2 years in Detroit, and as we mentioned, his 2nd year here is a good one for the Rangers. 349 average.
And that 349 average has been built on balls that he takes away. This is a very interesting defensive alignment that the Blue Jays have put up against Prince Fielder. Look at the middle of the infield, bunching him in the middle of the diamond, but the outfield playing Prince Fielder the other way.
Straight away in the outfield and to pull on the infield. He has been driving the ball to the opposite field. In the past, he used to flare the ball to left field, but now he's hitting it with authority to left, so they're playing him straight away.
Carrera is actually in and over towards left field.
Blue Jays need to win this ball game to win the series. They have split the first 2 games. They had a laugher on Friday night, 12-2, and were shut out by Gallardo, 4-0.
Gallardo was outstanding yesterday, wasn't he? I mean, he was throwing sinkers and cutters, everything down in the strike zone. John Gibbons' team just couldn't get anything going offensively.
Well, he has been exactly the veteran they want in their rotation. He's 6-0 after a Rangers loss.
His ERA isn't very good either after a Rangers loss.
0.88. Nick Martinez took a pounding here on Friday, and Gallardo, the veteran, explaining some of the finer points of pitching.
That is a true stopper when you stop losing streaks.
3-1 to Fielder. Now it's a full count. They may start to runner here with Beltre on deck. Just an effort to possibly stay out of a double play.
Odor's got 4 stolen bases. Martin has thrown out 18 runners this year.
There goes the runner. Fly pop to left. Carrera a long run. Donaldson calls for it. Third baseman goes into foul territory, and once again Donaldson got no help from anybody else. If somebody is standing next to him saying first, 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 he comes up throwing, and they might have a shot at Odor.
They might have had a chance because Odor, I don't know if he got deked at second base on the steal attempt, but the ball was popped up down the left field line, and he was actually standing around second base when that ball was caught by Donaldson.
But Donaldson, once he caught it, then Carrera obviously said first, but it was much too late. So now there are 2 down and a man at first for Beltre.
One more time, they start the runner. He just has no idea where the ball is. It's caught, and you can see he's close, and now he's going to have to hustle to get back because Donaldson hesitated momentarily at the beginning of that catch.
There goes Odor. Martin with the throw. It is into the runner and into right field. Odor with the stolen base. That ball tailed a bit on Devin Travis, and it went back into the base runner Odor.
Decent jump over there at first base for Odor. Watch him. He's got 1 foot on the carpet. He takes off. If he catches the ball, I think the ball and the runner met at the same time. If he catches that ball, stays with it as it's starting to tail, he catches it, he's going to be out. But it's just off of his glove and out into the outfield. Stolen base and error.
Tough air for Russell Martin. Throw wasn't that bad, but Travis couldn't make the catch. 0-2 to Beltre. Hutchison strikes out Beltre to end the first, and he did it on just 13 pitches. Much improved over his last outing. and they've been held to fewer than 4 hits all season long. Take a look at the lineup for John Gibbons' Blue Jays. Jose Reyes, Josh Donaldson, Jose Bautista, and then Edwin Encarnacion. Over his last 18 games, he's hit .333 with 10 extra base hits. He has 16 homers and 47 RBIs for the season. Kevin Pillar has an 11-game hit streak. He's 17 for 39 during that hit streak of .436 average.
They get Chichi Gonzalez this afternoon. He's just 23 years old. This is his 6th major league start. He was an A-ball last year for Texas. Finished the year up in Double-A. He started this season in Triple-A. And he's come up and he has done a really nice job for Texas. He throws a lot of strikes. And his numbers have been outstanding through his first 4 starts.
23 years old, and that sinking fastball off the plate. No swing, says Marcus Patilla. Reyes, 268 on the season. First time through the order, Blue Jays are going to want to get a real good feel for Chichi Gonzalez. First time they have seen him.
They know a lot about him. Brooke Jacoby, the hitting coach, was in the Texas organization last year and would watch him pitch in the minor leagues.
Sounded like it broke his bat. A 2-hopper to Odor at second. Reyes is retired. Gonzalez pitches to contact. It's going to put a lot of pressure on the defense today. Joey Gallo is in left. Leonis Martin, a terrific center fielder in the middle of the diamond. And Shin-Shu Chu is in right. Beltre, Andrews, Odor, and Mitch Moreland from third base to first base. And Robinson Chirino makes his 3rd start of the series, handling Chichi Gonzalez.
Mitch Moreland has taken over the everyday job at first base for the Texas Rangers. He's got a .993 fielding percentage. Just 3 errors this year. He has done an outstanding job for the Texas Rangers. He's going to be their everyday first baseman from now on.
When he plays every day at first, that brings out the best in his bat. He's done it again this year. Josh Donaldson, that cut fastball just off the plate outside.
I was talking with Brooke Jacoby and I was asking him about Gonzalez. He said he's got that natural cutter. He'll work both sides of the plate. He will use the sinker and the slider basically all afternoon long.
That ball is drilled to center. Martin is there. Moved a couple of steps to his left.
So what does he throw? The young 23-year-old, the former first-round draft pick for the Texas Rangers. Fastball, cutter. That's the combination that you'll get a lot of. You add that together, that's 70% of the time. He's also going to mix in a slider, a changeup, and a curveball. But he has the ability to sink the ball to right-handers and then cut the ball away from them. He'll do it front door and back door. He'll cut that ball in the inner half to right-handers also.
First pitch breaking ball to Bautista.
The curveball right there.
Jose Bautista's put together a good month of June. When you look at the leaders in RBIs, Bautista is 3rd behind J.D. Martinez and Albert Pujols. He has 20 RBIs for the month of June. His last 17 games, a little bit of a struggle, but he's been driving in runs. Up the middle, Odor was shaded up the middle, and he'll be retired on the 4-3 ground out. 3 up, 3 down for Gonzalez. He pitches to his scouting report, pitches to contact.
Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Rainy afternoon in Toronto. The roof is closed for a second straight day. Feels more like September than late June. Scoreless as we move to the second inning. It'll be Moreland, Andrews, and Joey Gallo for the Texas Rangers. Hutchison fired strikes early in this ball game. Mitch Moreland was drafted by the Rangers out of Mississippi State. He played right field and was the closer for their team. And they got into the regionals in the College World Series tournament. He was drafted in the 17th round. Currently riding a 5-game hit streak.
What is it with Mississippi State churning out those hitters?
Yeah, they have always done a good job. You go back to Rafael Palmeiro and Will Clark. Bobby Thigpen played on their team, and Hutchison strikes out Moreland to start the second back-to-back strikeouts.
You know what we like so far from Drew Hutchison is he's hitting his spots, and he's able to elevate that fastball when he needs to. A couple pitches down to get ahead of Moreland, and then he's able to elevate it. Was not able to do that in his last start. He was all over the place. That is a good sign early when he's able to spot that fastball.
Elvis Andrews takes his strike. Boy, there is nothing like strike one. That's the best pitch in baseball. Gives you so many options as a pitcher. Check swing tapper. Travis will have to throw quickly. High over Encarnacion's head. And Travis tried to flip the ball with his glove. It got stuck in his webbing and went over the glove of Encarnacion.
That will probably be an infield hit because that's a do-or-die play right there from Travis. Edwin Encarnacion was thinking about going to get it. He goes back to the bag. Devin Travis picks that one up, and he's got time if it's an accurate throw, but it gets caught in the webbing and just out of the reach of Encarnacion.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that's an infield hit. It took an exceptional effort by Travis even to make a play on it. This is Joey Gallo, the left fielder.
Well, you know you're hot when you check your swing like that and pick up an infield hit.
Gallo just 21 years old. Off to a good start with the power. 5 home runs for Gallo. First round pick of the Rangers in 2012. 39th pick overall. Compensation pick.
Yeah, he's got a lot of power to spare. When I watch him swing, he reminds me a little bit of Russell Brand. Remember Russell Brand for the Cleveland Indians? Tall like that, thin, very quick bat. You'll get home runs, and you have to deal with the strikeouts. He's got 38 strikeouts and 80 at bats.
That's a lot of strikeouts.
A lot of strikeouts, but a lot of power. He's got 5 home runs already.
Batting $150 over his last 12 games, and you see the strikeouts. 22 strikeouts in his last 12 games. Well, Hutchison can help himself as far as defending against the stolen base by throwing strikes. When you throw strikes, you eliminate the number of pitches a base stealer will have to take a break towards second.
Yeah, he's got Russell Martin behind the plate. That always helps too.
Andrews faked a break, just trying to create some movement on the infield. When a base runner will break like that, middle infielder, especially the shortstop, will peek at him, see that first step, and then might move towards second.
You know, and it was Jose Reyes who moved, who was playing right behind the bag. He has now shifted to the first base side of second base. Same kind of defensive alignment we saw against Prince Fielder. We're now seeing against Joey Gallo. Bunching in the middle of the diamond.
Big lead at first.
That's a huge lead. Throw over there.
Not running. Inside, and Gallo swings right through it. These are the things that catchers will look for when Andrews had about 2 feet onto the turf. To me, that says I'm not running. Just a big lead, a one-way lead back to first. A little shorter here. There he goes. Martin, for some reason, didn't throw. Reyes was standing right at the bag, and Russell just came out of the chute. Maybe didn't get a grip on the ball.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, that he just did not have the good grip.
He got caught flat-footed. He didn't see him running. 9 stolen base for Andrews, second of the game for Texas. Gallo takes ball 4. Drew Hutchison has gotten off to a 7-1 start, and his home road splits are kind of baffling. There's really no way to analyze the difference of the way he has pitched here at Rogers Center compared to the way he's pitched on the road.
Blue Jays just happy that they're home right now because his home road splits, look how good he is when he is at home. A 238 earned run average. He's only given up 2 home runs. He goes a little bit deeper on the road. Unfortunately, hasn't been kind to him.
Ground ball. Martin grounds at the Donaldson. Quick turn at first, not in time. Quick turn at second base as the base runner Gallo, he runs well. He was all over Devin Travis.
Yeah, we noticed that in yesterday's ball game when they had him out in center field, how well he runs. And with a runner at second base, he can get a big lead, and he's all over Devin Travis. Tries to take him out. The throw is offline just a little bit. Edwin just could not stretch to the ball. You can see he had to stretch to his right and play it off of a bounce. From that replay, looked like they might have been out.
Blue Jays don't appear to be looking at the possibility of a challenge. Andrews ends up at third.
Even though the ball hit the ground. Let's see it one more time. It hits the ground.
He's on the bag.
Yeah, he's safe.
But if it's directly toward the first base bag, then Encarnacion can stretch towards second. 2 outs. Robinson Chirinos, the catcher. Chirinos hit a home run yesterday in the 5th inning off Matt Boyd. Chirinos is 31 years old. He comes out of Venezuela. He was signed by the Cubs as an amateur free agent in 2000. There goes Martin. Russell Martin will not make a throw. Martin picks up the stolen base. That's his 13th. 3 stolen bases for Texas, and they have revealed their hand early.
Yeah, well, those are their 3 best base stealers. Odor, Andrus, and Martin. Their 3 best. Not a lot of speed other than those 3. They've been on base, and they've all gotten stolen bases already.
Chirinos has 26 RBIs, but he hasn't had a lot of success with runners in scoring position, batting 178.
Of those RBIs have come in these situations right here.
On just 8 hits?
8 hits.
Two and two now. Scoreless game, top of the 2nd. That's just a big strikeout here, Lee. 2 base runners aboard. That's his 3rd strikeout of the game. Stolen bases haven't factored into the score just yet. Hutchison pounds that fastball up and away to Robinson Chirinos. The Rangers lead 2.
it is all against the Boston Red Sox. It starts tomorrow at 7:07 as the Blue Jays host Boston. Tuesday and Thursday, also 7:07 starts. Wednesday, July 1st, which is Canada Day, is a 1:07 game. It is sold out, but you can get tickets for all 3 other games. Go to BlueJays.com for more.
Man, it should be an interesting series. Of course, the Red Sox are really struggling right now, but the Blue Jays need to take advantage of their troubles.
Hanley Ramirez has been sent back to Boston.
Hanley Ramirez has got a wrist problem, and Dustin Pedroia's got a hamstring problem. Joe Kelly's in the minors. Alan Craig's in the minors. A lot of the people they counted on not factoring into what they're doing right now. Edwin Encarnacion, we mentioned his great run over his last 18 games. He's hit .333. Of course, all the Blue Jays facing Chichi Gonzalez for the first time.
Boy, it's a natural cutting action on that fastball. Scouting report says that he'll throw a lot of those, and he'll cut that ball away from the right-hander. That is just something that it's really hard to teach. Certain guys can just throw a baseball and make it move certain ways.
And oftentimes it comes by accident. That's what happened with Mariano Rivera. He was just playing catch in the outfield one day, and the ball started to cut. That accident's probably going to end him up in the Hall of Fame.
That was a good accident.
That was a good accident. Right, very there. Good. 2-2. When Gonzalez made his major league debut, it was against the Boston Red Sox. And he had a terrific start to his career. He threw a no-hitter for 5 innings. And then David Ortiz led off the 6th with a double. He only allowed 2 hits. He gave up a double to Ortiz to start the 6th, and then a double to Mike Napoli, the only 2 hits he allowed in his first start. The manager, Jeff Bannister, came out to take him out of the game, and Gonzalez handed him the baseball, and Bannister said, no, just wait a minute. I want you to take in this moment, your first big league start. Encarnacion is called out on strikes. First strikeout for Gonzalez. He won't strike out many.
No, he won't. That one was the front door cutter right there, and it looked like it surprised him just a little bit. Let's take a look at Chichi Gonzalez, the location where he pitches. On the road, he's been better than home. Opponent's batting average 200, a whip. Doesn't get the support. That game you were just talking about was at home against Boston, so he got a chance to feel that from their home crowd.
42,831 were at the ballpark that day for his first major league start. And he was impressive. This is Deandre Navarro. He's been impressive of late. Swinging the bat well. This time he grounds it to the second baseman Odor, who was in shallow right field. 2 down.
Swing for the fences and save during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
Two outs now for Russell Martin, the catcher. Well, there's a lot of late movement on that fastball. Even that ball sailed inside.
That is the scouting report on him. Lots of movement. He can throw it where he wants to. Yeah, he doesn't get a lot of strikeouts, but he pitches. Puts that ball where he needs to.
Gonzalez grew up in Florida, Boynton Beach, Florida, and he went to school in Tulsa, Oral Roberts University. Played college baseball at Oral Roberts.
Now there has to be a connection somewhere when a guy from Florida ends up in Tulsa.
Yeah, it's interesting. His high school coach had served as a volunteer coach at Oral Roberts, and he recommended Gonzalez to the coach. Coach Rob Walton was at Oral Roberts at the time. There's a good sinking fastball. Gonzalez strikes out 2. 6 up, 6 down for Chichi Gonzalez to start the ball game. It's scoreless after 2.
Not just Canada Day, it is Tim and Sid Day, and no, that is not either Tim or Sid you see on the screen right now, but their show will make its debut on Sportsnet July the 1st following Blue Jays baseball. You can connect online 24/7 at Tim and Sid, and Buck, maybe that is Tim or Sid, you think?
I don't know, but we'll have to decide which is which. Jack's Link, Sasquatch is here for Jack's Link. He threw out the first pitch today, and he's part of the great crowd here on hand at Rogers Center yesterday. 37,167. Looks like a bigger crowd today.
They're sponsoring Cap Day today. That's why he's out here roaming the stands.
Sin Shu Chu, the leadoff man, grounded out on the first pitch of the ball game. Chu has bounced around a little bit. He signed with the Seattle Mariners as a free agent in 2000. He's from Busan, South Korea. He went from Seattle to the Cleveland Indians in a trade for Ben Broussard. Spent 7 years in Cleveland, hit .292 for the Indians. He had a good career. And he was always among the leaders in outfield assists. He had a strong arm. Then he had Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, and he was a 20-20 guy with regularity with Cleveland. Spent some time in Cincinnati. Struggling a little bit right now. Looks like he's getting a little bit too pull happy. You can see that barrel starting to open up just a little bit too quickly, and Drew Hutchison realizes that, so he throws the fastball up and in.
4 strikeouts for Hutchison.
That's the 4-seamer, and that's going to go upstairs. You can see him just go around that ball instead of through it, like we have seen in the past. Comes up empty.
Rougned Odor had an interesting trip around the bases in the first. He singled to left. Might have been an extra base hit had it not been for the great effort by Carrera. Then he stole second, went to third on an error, and was stranded as Hutchison pitched out of a tough situation. This is why he's been promoted to the 2 spot. In his last 11 games, he's hit over .320.
Just a matter of time, wasn't it, for him? Got off to a really rough start this year for the Texas Rangers and actually went back down to the minor leagues in May.
He's only 21 years old.
Yeah.
There's a strike, 3-1. Odor has the advantage of playing in the Venezuelan Winter League. He plays for Magallanes in Maracay, Venezuela. Very competitive league. There's a high fly ball. Ezequiel Carrera, the left fielder, makes the catch. 2 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Diaz has done a nice job since going to Boston. He has now 6 home runs.
2 home runs given up by Archer in the second. You know what? That's the first time in his career he's ever given up 2 home runs in 1 inning.
Yeah, he's been on a roll.
Oh, boy, is he ever.
Justin Masterson making the start for the Red Sox. You want to know how messed up things are in Boston? Listen to this lineup. Mookie Betts leading off, Brock Holt batting second, Xander Bogaerts hitting third. No Pedroia.
No Pedroia.
No Hanley Ramirez. Napoli's playing first. Looks like Napoli's already out of the game.
He was ejected. Mike Napoli ejected from that game, arguing balls and strikes. What a quick hook.
People are so sensitive, aren't they? Brett Oberholzer of the Astros was ejected yesterday after throwing a pitch at Alex Rodriguez. And today, just a little icing on the cake, he got sent to the minors. 2-2 to Prince Fielder. That's ball 3. Adrian Beltre struck out his first time up. He would bat if Fielder can reach base. Check swing foul right at home plate.
Boy, they're moving the ball around against Fielder, aren't they? In and out, up and down, just trying to stop him. As you can see, he is on a hot streak right now.
Now, Fielder had surgery on his neck last year, and he was in a lot of pain early in the season. Wasn't doing anything with the bat. He just couldn't swing. He's healthy again, and he's among the leaders in batting average. He'll take ball 4. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Things haven't gone particularly well for the Boston Red Sox this season. There are 10 games under 500, 9 games back in the American League East, and it seems as though that wouldn't be one of the things you'd want to do if you were a player.
Well, they
get thrown out in the early part of a game.
Early part of that ball game, when you only have one position player left on your bench, right there, Devin Marrero has to go in and play the game now for Boston, making things tough on John Farrell.
Adrian Beltre, we mentioned he struck out in his first at bat. He's just not swinging the bat well. You can see he's still dealing with that hand injury. He's got a left thumb ligament problem that put him on a DL, and you can see he's had just 4 hits in 20 at bats since coming back from the disabled list.
It's all wrapped up on that bat, and we've seen him in this series a couple of times swing and let go of that bottom hand to protect that thumb area.
0-2. That's a foul ball.
Struck him out last time, Buck, with a high fastball. Threw it by Adrian. Now 0-2. Back in the day, he used to be able to handle that pitch, that high fastball, and drive it to right field.
To the tune of 401 career home runs.
Pretty good. Last time they went up there, they might go back up there right here.
That's popped up down the right side in foul territory. It hits on the warning track and bounces out of play. Beltre's in his 18th season in the major leagues. He began his career with the Dodgers, spent 7 years in LA. Finished second in the MVP voting in 2004. He led the National League in home runs with 48.
48
in LA. Big stadium.
That's saying something in that ballpark.
He just can't swing it right now. They go back upstairs with the fastball and strike him out for a second time. The Rangers have stranded 4 through 3 innings. We're still scoreless.
Toronto native Captain Michael Berkowitz joined the Canadian Armed Forces in June 2003 and attended the Royal Military College of Canada. Upon graduation, he joined the Royal Canadian Regiment, where he was deployed to Afghanistan in 2010. In 2012, he was transferred to the 2 Canadian Brigade Group headquarters, where he's worked since managing training and has prepared countless soldiers for deployments around the world. Congratulations today to Captain Michael Berkowitz. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry. And the Blue Jays do a great job every Sunday home game acknowledging men and women from the Canadian Forces. There's a sharp grounder to second. Ezequiel Correa is the 7th man retired in order by Chichi Gonzalez. Well, here's Kevin Pillar, and he is the hottest Blue Jay of all. Well, he has put together an 11-game hit streak. He's hit in 19 of 23 games in the month of June and has raised his average to 272. His 11-game hit streak is impressive because it started against the Mets. He put together 3 games against the Mets, 3 games against Baltimore, 3 games against Tampa Bay, and 2 against Texas. Those are pretty good pitching stats.
Boy, are they ever. Tampa, the Mets, we saw some of their best players, Harvey and Syndergaard. We saw Chris Archer during that streak. We saw yesterday's starter was real good, Giovanni Gallardo.
Gallardo allowed just 3 hits, and Pillar was 1 for 3. Ball on the strike. What's Kevin Pillar done this month of June that he didn't do prior to this month?
Well, they got a hold of him in Washington at the beginning of this month, and Eric Owens, the assistant batting coach, says, let me work with him. Let me take away that leg kick that we saw earlier, and his timing has been a lot better. He has kept his foot on the ground, and he's gotten that foot down when he's ready to swing. He's seeing the ball better. The game has slowed down, and it's just a small tweak that Eric put in there with him, and it has worked. They go down to that batting cage, and they work on it constantly.
There's a little flare into center field. Martin gets over. Leonis Martin makes the running catch. Eric Owens has worked with some good ones, and here's one, Devin Travis. A little nod of the head to the pitcher, and Gonzalez tipped his cap to the hitter. These two come from the same town in Florida, and they played Little League baseball against one another.
And Devin knows all about Chichi Gonzalez. He said he played against them. They were little leaguers. He said he's known them since he was 8 or 9 years old. In fact, Devin's Little League team beat Chichi's team to go to the Little League World Series out of Florida. He said that Chichi was a catcher back then. And it wasn't until his sophomore year in high school where Gonzalez grew a little bit. He hit 90 on the radar gun, and then the scouts and everybody started talking about, hey, did you hear Chichi hit 90 miles an hour on the radar gun? They turned him into a pitcher.
Bouncing ball, big hop for Elvis Andrus in time. Chichi Gonzalez has the upper hand over the Blue Jays so far. 9 up, 9 down through 3 innings. We go to the 4th. There's no score.
Presented by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Welcome indoors to Rogers Center. Sunday afternoon game. This will wrap up the three-game series between the Blue Jays and the Texas Rangers. No score as we move to the fourth inning. For Texas, Mitch Moreland will start things off. Moreland struck out his first time up. Goes after the first pitch and drives it to left. Carrera over in the alley makes the catch. One pitch went out here in the fourth. Boy, Drew Hutchison has been much more efficient than he was the last time out. That was his 52nd pitch, and he's into the fourth inning. Took him 64 pitches to get through 2 against Tampa Bay.
It makes it so much easier when you retire that first batter of an inning, especially on first pitch.
This is Elvis Andrus. He had an infield hit his first time up. Little chopper up the first baseline. Devin Travis tried to flip it with his glove to first. It was a check swing on a slider. Drew Hutchison leads the American League in win percentage. He's 7-1 for the season. Blue Jays have pitched very well in the month of June. We've been talking all along about how well they have hit, but the starters especially have really pitched well in June. And Hutchison with that slider racks up his 6th strikeout already.
6 strikeouts. Every one of them swinging. The time he got them with the slider. You can see he's out in front of that one. That's the whole key for Drew Hutchison throwing a good slider, is get that hand on top of the ball so you can bring that ball down and away. And a feeble effort right there from Andrus, fooled on that slider. But you're right, the pitching has been outstanding in the month of June. And I think the starters doing well goes hand in hand with the relievers pitching well.
Well, Mark Burley has been the lead dog in this run in June. He has really fallen into a groove. R.A. Dickey's pitching much better. Matt Boyd, what a start Matt Boyd made in his major league debut. Matt Boyd had 7 strikeouts. That matches the franchise record for most strikeouts by a starting pitcher in his first major league appearance. Mark Zebchinski, the left-hander, in 2009 against Tampa Bay, also recorded 7 strikeouts in his first big league game. Says Joey Gallo. A changeup just off the end of the bat.
Boyd didn't look out of place, did he?
Not at all.
Yeah, he looked like he could pitch here.
He didn't walk a batter. The players were talking about it this morning, how poised he looked. 1-2. Gallo walked in the second. One of 2 walks that Hutchison has allowed.
Couple of change-ups in a row right now. Time to go upstairs with that fastball right here. See if you can get another strikeout.
There it is. Right on cue for Mr. Tabler. Couple of strikeouts here in the fourth. 7 on the afternoon. Drew Hutchison off to a great start on Sunday afternoon. The high fastball strikes out Joey Gallo.
Center it is join us as we turn the ballpark into a winter wonderland. Sunday, July 19th, Blue Jays versus Rays, 107. The first 20,000 fans will receive a pair of Blue Jays winter mittens. That's right. Go to BlueJays.com for more. Nothing like winter mittens in the middle of July, Buck.
Well, the way it is outside today, you could have taken that for a live shot. It looks like September outside of Rogers Center. It's been cold both Saturday and Sunday. Second time through the order. Let's see if the Blue Jays can't figure something out against Chichi Gonzalez. He retired the side in order, 9 up, 9 down. 5 ground ball outs.
Yeah, that's the one, the key right there. Ground balls with that late movement, cutting and sinking action. You're going to have to make them throw strikes or move up in the box. Catch it before that ball starts to break.
There's a Gold Glover at third, and Reyes has really hit in tough luck lately. He's hit a lot of balls hard without much to show for it. Adrian Beltre, a 4-time Gold Glover.
He was in, respecting the speed and the possible bunts. That ball is right at Beltre, who makes the catch. You're right. Jose Reyes has not had a lot of luck swinging the bat.
The last thing you want to say to Reyes right now is, hey, man, you hit it good. He didn't want to hear it.
No, that doesn't count.
No, I want some hits. He has been swinging the bat very well. Josh Donaldson lined out to center field his first time up.
Blue Jays hit the ball hard on occasions yesterday. Just couldn't find any holes against the Texas Rangers. They had them play perfectly. Donaldson, you mentioned his ball. He hit that ball hard to center field in the first inning. Nothing you can do about that, right? Just go up there and just keep having good at bats, and eventually they will fall in.
You can't guide it, that's for sure. Look out, Pat, right back at you.
And, ooh, off the monitor.
Hit something in the back, that's for sure. I think that's the first one that's been up here this season.
One. Yep, that actually made it into the booth. I just watch him go by anymore.
Yeah.
There's too much expensive equipment around here.
2-2 to Donaldson. Now it's a full count. Jose Bautista is on deck. Blue Jays looking for their first base runner. High and deep to left. He's not going to be on long. Josh Donaldson has just gone deep. He'll circle the bases. Home run number 18.
That'll give the crowd something to cheer about right there. You hit the ball hard, eventually you're going to find base hits. Josh Donaldson looked like he got a mistake right there, and he didn't miss it.
Second time through the order, Reyes hit it right on the line, and Donaldson hits it out of the ballpark.
Looked like a cut fastball on the inside part. It looked like they wanted to go down and away with it, but it stayed over the middle, and he hit it hard. That's what you do with mistakes right there. That's how you hit them. Full extension.
That's the one thing Gallardo didn't do in yesterday's game. He never left the ball out over the plate.
Fastball up. And Josh talked about his first at-bat. He hit one hard right into center field. Just couldn't get it airborne. That time he did. Number 18.
That's his 13th home run here at Rogers Center. Bautista drives it to center field. Martin over, and Chu makes the catch. Chu was waiting on Martin to call him off, and he barely was able to make the catch. 2 outs. Let's check in again with Jamie Campbell. Blue Jays are going to have to get video of that game, because they can't do a thing against Chris Archer, but the Red Sox having no problems with the big right-hander. When Encarnacion called out on strikes in the second. It's only the second time this season that Archer has given up 2 home runs in a game, and now it's 3. He gave up 2 home runs in his first start against Baltimore, and 3 this afternoon.
Good sinker right there, down. Speaking of home runs, that's just the 3rd home run that Gonzalez has given up this year. You can see why. He's got some good movement. Keeps that ball down.
For Gonzalez, this is his 6th start of the season. He came up in May and made that first start against the Boston Red Sox. That was on the 30th of May in Arlington. And 5 2/3, allowed 2 runs on 2 hits. He walked 5 in that game. Another sharply hit ball off the bat of a Blue Jay hitter. Full count, 2 outs. We're in the 4th. Blue Jays have taken a 1-0 lead. Encarnacion will take ball 4. That's the first walk issued by Gonzalez this afternoon.
I got the feeling he wanted no part of Edwin Encarnacion with 2 outs and nobody on. It was, you know, if I end up walking him, at least he hasn't left the ballpark. So now he will deal with Encarnacion over at first base and Gian Navarro in the batter's box.
Gian Navarro grounded out to second base his first time up. He takes a ball upstairs. Gonzalez threw a 3-hit shutout against the Royals in Kansas City earlier on, back on the 5th of June. For 116 pitches. But once again, he walked 2 and struck out 2. He's just a sinker ball pitcher that throws a lot of strikes.
His first 2 starts were pretty special for the Texas Rangers. Shutout ball against Boston. You mentioned the shutout against Kansas City. Then he only gave up 1 run to Oakland.
7 innings, 8 hits, 1 run against Oakland in his 3rd big league start. Last time out, he got touched up a bit by Oakland. Second time they saw him. Catcher Russell Martin is on deck. 3-0 to Diana Navarro. Cut on and missed. 3-2 now to Navarro.
Pretty good right there. That ball had some movement on it. Late movement. Out of his hand about halfway to home plate. That ball looks like it is straight. And then you get that last few feet. That ball just drops.
Encarnacion will get a running start at first on the 3-2 count with 2 outs. There he goes. Ball 4. Back-to-back 2-out walks issued by Gonzalez. So the Blue Jays get their first base runner this inning. They get their first hit and their first run. Josh Donaldson with a solo home run. Donaldson, we mentioned, That home run, his 13th home run at home this season in 40 games. Last year playing in Oakland, he hit 11 home runs in 78 home games at O.Co Coliseum. So he is really enjoying his new surroundings. And we talk about home run leaders in their first season with the Jays. You go all the way back to John Mayberry in 78.
Big John at 22 his first year. Joe Carter's first year at 1991. Yo-Yo had 33. Jose Canseco at 98. Topped that with 46. How about Troy Gloss, another slugger that the Blue Jays had in 2006 with his home runs. And then the Big Hurt in 2007. His first year as a Blue Jay, hit 26 home runs. I think one of those was around his 500th home run, wasn't it? Was that first year?
I think so. This is Russell Martin hitting with 2 aboard.
We got a chance to watch Mike Maddox, the pitching coach for the Texas Rangers, come out and talk to his young starter, saying that his head was moving a little bit too much, that it was flying open, and that's why he was missing his spots the last 2 batters. He wants him to keep his head still and really drive towards home plate a little bit better.
Well, Mike Maddox knows all about mechanics. Of course, he is the brother of Greg Maddox, the Hall of Fame pitcher. And both Maddoxes understand the mechanics of pitching.
Yeah, Mike pitched in the big leagues. He was a pretty good player.
Greg Maddox always talked about pitchers who had good control. He said those pitchers have good aim.
Their aim is pretty good.
Their aim is pretty good.
He looks a little bit like Greg Maddox, doesn't he? If you take away the facial hair.
Yeah. But Mike Maddox, longtime pitching coach here with the Rangers, is in his 7th season with Texas. Off the end of the bat. Greg Maddox was, and still is, a very good golfer. And he used his golfing alignment to help refine his pitching. He was always concerned about his landing foot and where that toe was pointed and how he was aligned. And nobody mastered the strike zone like Greg Maddox.
Talk about somebody who's working on the finite mechanics of pitching.
Russell Martin hits it high and deep to center. Leonis Martin will get back and make the catch. The Blue Jays take the lead on Josh Donaldson's 18th home run of the season. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zorn.
$100 credit when you add internet to select Rogers Ignite bundles. Find out how. Call 1-888-ROGERS-1 now. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Lots going on at Rogers Center in a Sunday afternoon game. Got a little band working. They gave away the white panel Blue Jay hats here this afternoon. And everybody is very thankful for the roof. It's a rainy day in Toronto. A little bit of rain yesterday down the East Coast. There are 3 doubleheaders being played today. as they're playing up some makeup games.
Yeah, the Reds had their game suspended in the 7th inning. Reds and Mets, so they will pick that up at 1:30 today, so that's already started.
Baltimore's playing a doubleheader. Same for the Phillies. Drew Hutchison has a 1-0 lead. It's 8-9-1 for the Rangers here in the 5th. Hutchison threw one of his 2 career shutouts against the Texas Rangers last May 16th down in Arlington. A 3-hit complete game, 2-0 win for Hutchison. Leonis Martin had one of the 3 hits. He gave up 3 singles. Ruben Odor had the other, and Beltre had the third. 3 singles in that ballgame. That was it. And if you remember, that was against Yu Darvish, and the Blue Jays were shut out until they scored 2 runs in the 8th inning.
He had to be good that day. I remember that Hutch's fastball was exploding.
Melky Cabrera drove in both runs in the 8th inning. There is nothing quite like a pitcher throwing a complete game and walking out with his team. I think that's the ultimate goal for a pitcher. 9 innings. Boy, that changeup is working as well. That's 8 strikeouts for Hutchison.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Footlong hot dogs. We'll take 3 up here in the booth, please, and just light on the ketchup. Lots of mustard, though.
Am I going to get one of those?
There's 3 of us. I ordered 3.
I thought you were for you,
Scott. You.
Okay.
3 footlongers.
I didn't know you were going to share those.
I'm a team guy. That's just what I need. 3 hot dogs.
3 footlongs.
Robinson Chirinos. He struck out his first time. That's a foul ball. Donaldson took it behind the bag at 3rd. We mentioned the Blue Jays shut out yesterday on just 3 hits. They've had just 1 hit today, but it was a home run. This is popped up middle of the field. Devin Travis, the second baseman, will give way to the shortstop, Jose Reyes, who makes the catch. 2 down. So now back to the top of the order for the 3rd time, Sin-Shu Chu, the right fielder. Chu has gone 0 for 2 this afternoon. Chu for this series is 0 for 11. So he's thinking about a bunch.
Yep, there you go. Blue Jays play Chu to pull. For me, he's not really a pull hitter. He never has been in his career, but this year he must be pulling a lot of balls. They got 1 defender on the left side. That's why you saw him try to put a bunt down.
You know, when I think a guy is struggling, and I'm going to categorize Chu as struggling, hitting just 225 this season, I think what you do is you try to pull first, because that's the easiest thing to do. Your timing has to be perfect just to use the whole field. You got to be confident, wait back, hit the breaking ball the other way.
Don't you think he'll come out of his slump faster if you start using the whole field? You can wait on the ball, and you can just that split second you can recognize it for a little bit longer.
You would think as a veteran player like Chu that he would do that, but oftentimes hitters go back to the easiest thing, and that's trying to hit it hard to the pull side. Reyes played up the middle, makes a nice play on the one hopper. 3 up, 3 down for Hutchison. He's retired 7 straight. They go to the bottom of the 5th, 1-0 Blue Jays.
They are special guests of TD who won today's TD Comfort Zone contest. Well, over in the Blue Jays Community Care Clubhouse are guests that we welcome from Ronald McDonald House. What a tremendous organization that is. Buck?
It sure is, Barry, and we're glad to have those folks with us this afternoon. In the comfort of Rogers Center, all indoors. It'll be 7, 8, and 9 for the Blue Jays here in the 5th. Ezequiel Carrera, the left fielder. 1-0 ball game. And it's bunted right off the catcher, and it'll be a ball and 2 strikes to Carrera. Trying to get something going here in the 5th. Robinson Chirinos trying to walk it off. He's got the comfort of the umpire, third baseman, and the pitcher all saying, "You okay, man?"
Sure that he can walk that one off. He was smiling, so you got to figure he's going to be okay. But Carrera's doing the right thing. He's got to figure out a way to get on board here. Try to get something started for the Blue Jays. Many times this year, the bottom of the order for the Jays have started rallies for him.
They have as deep a lineup as there is in baseball. There's no question about it. Carrera, Pilar, and Travis will bat here in the 5th. You can get these guys on base and then turn it over to maybe the most potent top 6 in all of baseball. Statistically, there's no arguing with the offense. I mean, they're the best in baseball by far.
Nice at bat.
There's a start. That's 3 walks in the last 2 innings issued by Gonzalez. He started out the game with 3 perfect innings.
And he is a pitcher who is a controlled pitcher, not known for walking batters. One more time, you want to see how close this one is? Just off the plate. Good take by Carrera.
Ted Barrett is the crew chief. He's got home plate this afternoon. Kevin Pillar. Good time to play hit and run. Got a strike thrower on the mound. Not running here. Pillar fouls back the first pitch.
You've got a hot hitter at the plate, Kevin Pillar. You've got some speed over at first base. Yeah, why not try and get something started? Put that runner in motion. Maybe you can open up a hole on the infield. As a batter, if you see hit and run, you got to get the ball on the ground. Don't want to pop it up or hit a line drive.
Gonzalez, that was just a design play. They will call it from the bench, and it's a hold. Just hold it to see if somebody will jump, whether the base runner will move. Jeff Bannister, the manager, making the calls.
He quick pitched on the first pitch. That looks like a throw over to first base. But he quick pitched Kevin Pillar. Came set very quickly and then went home and then held the ball just to see if the runner will flinch or maybe get out on that front foot just a little bit. Shoot one through the right side here.
Pillar hits it to center. Martin didn't pick it up initially off the bat. Now he has it, and Carrera will have to stay at first. Pillar flies out to center. So here's where you gamble with your John Gibbons. Go ahead and start the runner on the first pitch. You got a 1-0 lead. Bottom of the order.
You know,
Just
you
take
got
a shot.
Another guy who can handle the bat in Devin Travis, and he can hit that ball the other way. Took a long look at Luis Rivera, the third base coach for the Blue Jays. Gibby's been known to use this combination right here, the number 9 batter, to hit and run with.
Not running here. Snap throw to first, not in time as Carrera slides back in safely. Chirinos will throw it around. He has committed 3 errors. He's only thrown out 18% of the base stealers.
Jumps out there with a secondary lead, and you don't want to be hung out there. You want to land on that right foot and bounce back to first.
There's a drive to left field. Joey Gallo's not going to get this. It's up against the wall. Carrera is being waved home as they miss the 2 cutoff mans, and they're going to score. Boy, they missed all 3 cutoff men as Joey Gallo airmailed the shortstop, the second baseman, and the third baseman. They had a shot at Carrera, but Luis Rivera saw the angle of the throw and waved Carrera home.
You got the speed on the bases, and Gallo in the outfield looked like initially the ball off the wall. He bobbled it just momentarily. Watch it come off the wall. Bounces a little bit right there, and that's all that Luis Rivera had to see. And then look at that. Airmailed it over 3 cutoff men. And by that time, you can see he's sending Carrera all the way. Watch it hit the turf and slow down. And that gives Ezekiel a chance to get in the back door with the second run.
2-0, back to Reyes. Boy, you'll hear outfield coaches holler, hit the cutoff man, and if he hits Anders, they throw him out by 10 feet.
Yep. Even with that little bobble in the outfield.
The fundamentals costing the Rangers a run here. But then again, if they hit the cutoff man, Luis Rivera stops Carrera at third. So Reyes then would be batting with runners at second and third. There are so many things a third base coach has to evaluate and sort out in a split-second time. Who's throwing? Who's running? Where's the throw? Is it on line? Can they cut it off? All those things have to be decided. Where they are in the game, who's coming up, all that goes into it. But what the runner has to do, it's got to give them a good effort. You got to assume that they're going to score them. Reyes drives it into center. That's a base hit. Devin Travis read it perfectly. He's going to come in to score. Reyes finally finds a hole on a sharp line drive to center. Travis did a great job of getting a break on contact.
Even with a good outfielder, and I mean a good outfielder in Leonis Martin, he can cover a lot of ground, and he's a great thrower. You have to read it like that. Watch Devin. As soon as the ball leaves the bat, he is on his way. A one-hopper to Martin. Strong arm. He's got 9 outfield assists, but no chance to get Travis at the plate. Good base running right there by the Jays.
Reyes picks up an RBI, his 25th. It's a 3-0 score. Devin Travis drives in a run. Now he has scored a run. But that's part of your preparation before the pitch is delivered. Turn around, check out where the outfielders are. Then you get a read on the ball off the bat and get a great jump like that.
Especially the center fielder, because he's going to cover the most ground, and he's normally the best outfielder in center field. Know where the shortstop's playing right behind you. If you're that runner at second base, you know where those outfielders are.
Josh Donaldson got it started. He broke up the no-hitter in perfect game with a home run in the 4th. The leadoff walk by Carrera really set up this inning very well. He worked Gonzalez for the leadoff walk, the 3rd walk that Gonzalez has issued so far this game.
And that's why it's so important. You know, you get those 2 guys on at the bottom of the order. Boy, it really sets the stage for the Blue Jays. They've scored 2 already. They got a runner at first base, and here comes the middle of the lineup one more time.
You know what it does in my mind for Reyes? When he comes up with runners on base, he really gets keen focus.
Yeah.
He's hit .349 with runners in scoring position.
Pitchers have to come to him. They don't want to put him on base. They have to come to him, so they throw fastballs, and he's ready with pitch 1. And he hit that ball hard. Now he's at first base. I don't know if I would run him right here. The Rangers think he's going.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's a time to run when you got Donaldson and Bautista coming up next.
Yeah, and Encarnacion. So you just sit back and let. He can score from first base on a double.
Bautista will be next. 2 balls and a strike to Donaldson. 1 out. 2 runs in here in the 5th. Donaldson up the middle, base hit. Reyes is turning around second. Here's the throw to third. It's a good one, and Reyes is out. Donaldson slides in at second. Martin picks up his 10th outfield assist with a perfect throw to third. Good time to gamble for Reyes. You're up 3-0. See if you can't get 2 runners in scoring position, but Martin gunned him down at third.
Martin, the one thing I've noticed about him in this series, watch how quickly he gets to the ball and then unloads it. 1 step and bam, on line and easy out at third base. On the fly, Beltre tags out Reyes. He's actually waiting for him at third base and then tries to get that back runner.
Beltre was thinking about going to second immediately, and Donaldson never broke stride. He ends up in scoring position. Now there are 2 outs for Bautista. 3-0 Blue Jays. Off the plate. We mentioned Jose in the month of June has 20 RBIs. He trails only J.D. Martinez and Albert Pujols, who are tied with 24 RBIs in the month.
And he's been very patient this whole month. Walked a ton in the month of June, and that just takes the bat right out of his hand. He has made his hits count.
He also has 8 home runs in June. Pujols leads the league with 12. J.D. Martinez has 10, and then Luis Valbuena of the Astros has 9. 2-0. Hitter count. Way outside. This is what makes it so tough on pitchers. Reyes, Donaldson, Bautista, Encarnacion, Navarro, Martin. There's just nowhere to go.
Yeah, well, you have to be perfect. If you make a mistake, they're going to hurt you. So you try and nibble, you try and throw pitches that you're just not accustomed to. That time, yanked that slider, trying to overthrow it.
Not close. Bautista takes ball 4. 4 walks now issued by Gonzalez, and the Rangers bullpen will start to go to work. Spencer Patton, right-hander, starts to loosen up for the Rangers. This is a real Achilles heel for the Rangers, the middle bullpen.
Middle relief. Right now, Blue Jays have this guy on the ropes. Let's see if they can deliver a big hit.
Edwin Encarnacion. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk. 16 homers and 47 RBIs. Bautista leads the Blue Jays with 50 ribbies, and then Donaldson and Encarnacion tied with 47. Inside.
Off-speed pitch on the inner half. He was looking in there and got it. Was just a little bit too quick. Now he's going to have to battle him.
Hot shot, backhanded by Beltre, goes to the bag and beats Donaldson to end the inning. But the Blue Jays add 2 more runs. It's a 3-0 lead as we head to the 6th, and here comes the Home Hardware Cleanup Crew, brought to you by Natura. Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products.
Goes July 18th when the Tampa Bay Rays are in town for a 107 start. Join us pregame outside Gate 10 for inflatables, activities, and lots of fun. And after the game, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros. Go to BlueJays.com for tickets. Bye.
It'll be great to get back after the All-Star break for the 3-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays. And after that, Blue Jays will head out west, take on the Oakland A's and the Seattle Mariners. Drew Hutchison has been staked to a 3-0 lead. Rougned Odor shows the butt, takes a strike. Odor's 1 for 2. Hutchison holding the Rangers to 2 singles. Odor and Elvis Andrews. What a nice play by Hutchison. He takes a lot of pride in his fielding. He was a former shortstop, and he makes a good play right there.
How about that athletic play by Drew Hutchison? First of all, he lets go of the baseball, and he's in good position to field it, but watch the athleticism to go high, snare it. Now, remember, he's throwing uphill. That front leg, that lead leg, when he's thrown over to first base, is uphill. So he took his time and made a good throw.
I'll give him a red star on that play.
I've already done that. Put it down there for him. Nice play.
Again, he's able to retire the first batter of an inning. They've done it 6 straight innings now. 1 out. Prince Fielder has popped out and walked. That fastball has looked inviting all afternoon, but the Rangers can't catch up to it.
It's been golden for him. He has picked up those strikeouts, a lot of them with that elevated fastball.
One and 2. Foul back out of play.
Blue Jays have straightened out their defense now against Prince Fielder. Early in this series, they were playing him to pull. He was just shooting the ball the other way. And look at this. Almost straight up now.
Donaldson just shaded off the line. Another fastball up, another foul into the seats. Prince Fielder's father, Cecil Fielder, started his big league career with the Blue Jays in 1985. Cecil came up as a 21-year-old. Blue Jays had a ton of players back then. Cecil Fielder and Fred McGriff were two young pups. They were just breaking in.
They were backups, weren't they, on that team at first base? Willie Upshaw was on that team.
Willie Upshaw was on that team. Cecil was the first baseman 25 games. In '86, he was the DH, a young DH, because there was no room for him to play. Ground ball, he beats the shift. Base hit to left field. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. A one-out single by Prince Fielder. Adrian Beltre has struck out twice this afternoon. Beltre just dealing with that thumb ligament, not able to really swing the bat well. Got a lot of body in his swing now. Not really able to use his hands as he would like.
Yeah, he was off the plate when he was younger. And when you mean use your hands, that control the barrel of the bat. You could just whip it and throw it at the baseball. Right now, there's just a little bit too much of the upper body into the swing or the arms.
Bouncing ball up the middle. Travis can't find the handle. Tried to throw it to Reyes. The ball took him to the shortstop side of second. He tried to throw it back over his shoulder. Never got a grip on the baseball. Again, that could be ruled an infield hit for Beltre. It took an exceptional effort for Travis to get to the bouncing ball up the middle.
Yeah, 0-2 pitch. He gets the high fastball. He gets contact. I don't think they would have been able to turn two on that play. That would have been a little bit too tough.
It is an error on Devin Travis, just his second error of the season. So now there are two aboard. Mitch Moreland. Strike one.
He's getting ahead of it. He was 0-2 on Fielder and lost him on a hit. He was 0-2 on Beltre and lost him on an error. And now he jumps ahead of Moore. Been throwing strikes all afternoon. Now he's got to put him away. Moreland has been a hot hitter against the Blue Jays.
Ground ball, not sharply hit. They'll go to second to get that force out on Beltre. Moreland's retired on the fielder's choice. Fielder goes to third. They've done a good job of neutralizing Mitch Moreland this afternoon.
Yeah, he was tearing him up the first two games of this series. That time Hutch was able to get that fastball inside. Now he's got to pick up his teammate right here and throw a zero. Pick up his second baseman, who was charged with the error.
Shortstop Elvis Andrews bats. He represents the tying run now. Runners at the corners and 2 down. There's 212 for Andrews in these situations this season, 14 for 66. Aaron Luke, left-hander, loosening up. Joey Gallo, big left-handed power hitter, is on deck. Pete Walker looking at the matchups and calculating their next move. There's a base hit to center. Fielder comes in to score. Andrews drives in Fielder from third with a 2-out single. And it's a 3-1 ball game.
Nice clutch hitting right there from Andrews. He's had a very nice series for the Texas Rangers.
That's his 4th hit in the 3 games as he cashes in field.
Fastball. Down and away. That's where he likes it. He just reaches for it and punches it into center field. And now we've got to deal with Gallo.
So John Gibbons has Aaron Loup ready. Gallo's got a lot of power. He's got 5 home runs. Joey Gallo hitting 139 against lefty pitching. He's hit 2 home runs against lefties, but he's just 5 for 36. And Hutchison's going to get a chance to deal with him here. Gallo batting .295 coming into this game against right-handed pitching. Both teams now with 4 hits. Blue Jays lead it 3-1. Two and 0. This is the rubber game of this 3-game series. They've split the first 2. Russell Martin with a throw to second, and Reyes was there, but Orland slides back in ahead of the throw.
Now, I love those catchers who are always thinking, and Russell Martin is one of those guys right there. He's noticing that Moreland is bouncing off at second base, so why not take a shot? Try and pick him off. You've got Reyes standing right behind him at second base, just to put something in his mind in case he gets a base hit.
Well, it's also very easy when you're playing in the shifts as frequently as you are. You can see where the shortstop is. He's right behind second. 2-1 to Gallo. Upstairs now 3-1. Leonis Martin, another left-handed bat, is on deck. The Rangers have scored this inning. 2 hits and an error contributing. That'll load the bases. Third walk issued by Hutchison. So now the bases are loaded, and here comes John Gibbons. He's made the call to the bullpen. It'll be the left-hander, Aaron Loup. So Drew Hutchison will leave the game with the lead 3-1. Hutchison has thrown 97 pitches, pitching into the 6th with 2 outs. So Hutchison turns the ball over to the manager. Aaron Loup faced 2 batters yesterday. He struck out Chu and Martin to end the 9th.
Highlights. Watch the Blue Jays live from anywhere. What?
Thank you very much, Barry. Good crowd on hand here at Rogers Center this afternoon. Third game of this 3-game series. Blue Jays won Friday night 12-2, lost 4-0 yesterday afternoon. Aaron Loup closed out the game yesterday with a couple of strikeouts, the only 2 batters he faced.
And one of them was the batter he's going to face right here. Lefty's hitting .225 against Aaron, as he beats Leonis Martin with that fastball. Fastball command has been a little bit better. Trying to keep him on line and not falling too far off base. When he does that, that's where you see a good one. Good pitches, good fastball, good breaking ball, and a good changeup.
3 inherited base runners for Loup. Loup threw just 7 pitches to strike out 2 batters in yesterday's game. 7 pitches, 7 strikes. Breaking ball, strike 2. Loup has stranded 12 of 15 base runners. He's allowed just 20% of the inherited base runners to score.
Well, he needs to come up with a big one right here.
And he does. Loup strikes out Martin for a second straight day. And the Rangers leave the bases loaded. They have scored a run. The Blue Jays will take a 3-1 lead to the bottom of the 6th thanks to Aaron Loup striking out Leonis Martin.
Game, make him a starter. Go to BlueJays.com and vote. You can vote up to 35 times per email address. July 14th is the All-Star Game, and the cutoff date is coming up on July 2nd. And one of Josh Donaldson's biggest advocators is the man sitting next to me right now, Stephen Amell, the star of Arrow, also working on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the live-action version of it.
Yep.
You had a chance to meet Josh today. First of all, I want to ask you about the campaign that you started and what made you decide to go so heavy on getting Josh to the All-Star Game.
Well, you and I met at Citi Field, and I was in the concourse at Citi Field, and I heard the Mets radio announcer talking about how 8 Royals were going to start in the All-Star Game, and I just spent 3 straight days watching Josh be awesome at third base for the Jays. So I decided to use my Facebook page to start a campaign.
You had a chance to meet him for the first time today. You had a chance to take batting practice, and tell the viewers what happened out there.
So I met Josh in the locker room, and he was like, I heard you want to take some licks. I heard you want to have some BP. And so we got out in the field. They got me a bunch of gear, gave me a couple of lessons, and started to turn on a few. It was good.
And you hit one out.
I hit one out. It wasn't the best one that I hit, but I hit a homer, and that was my goal. Exact same trajectory as Carter's homer in '93.
Well, listen, Stephen, thanks so much for joining us. All the best, and hopefully we get Josh to the All-Star Game.
Of course, man. And I want to give a quick shout-out to my buddy Andrew Nielsen, who's watching at home. Good friend of mine.
Okay, thanks a lot. Buck, there is Stephen Amell.
Stephen Amell is a big fan. Obviously, he recognized the home run. It was in the same spot Joe Carter hit his home run against Mitch Williams in the World Series. But he had a nice swing. It was the first time he hit on the field. Josh brought him out to hit, and we watched him swing the bat. He did a good job, represented himself well.
Almost hit one early in his BP, and he was going crazy, and it went off the wall, so he stayed in there until he went deep, right down the left field line, and then walked out.
Russell Martin's 0 for 2 so far. Blue Jays have a 3-1 lead. They have been held again to just 4 hits. Yesterday, Yovani Gallardo and Sean Tollison held him to 3 hits. Gallardo went 8 1/3, allowing just 3 hits. Tell you what, you got to tip your cap to pitchers that can shut down the Blue Jays. This is a great hitting ball club. Jake Odorizzi held him to 2 hits early in the season for Tampa Bay. Down ball up the middle. Andrews has great range, throws from his knees right on the money. 2 down.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
It's a good day for a roof in Toronto. It is raining outside. CN Tower right next door. And we are glad to have a roof, nice and comfortable inside. Another good crowd on hand at Rogers Center.
Last 2 days, I'm glad we had a roof here. We would have been rained out, I think, both days. But the fans get to enjoy this. It's a white panel hat day.
It looks like September here. We're out west in BC. They are sweltering in the heat. Blue Jays will be out to Seattle toward the end of July. Ezequiel Carrera. Well, he had a big at bat in this ball game. In the 5th inning, he had a leadoff walk. Came around to score the second Blue Jay run. That keyed a 2-run 5th inning.
I've been impressed with Gonzalez. He's good. He's looked good. And just 23 years old. He looks poised. Knows what he's doing.
Strikes out Carrera, 3rd strikeout of the afternoon. We've played 6 here at Rogers Center. Blue Jays have a 3-1 lead. Robinson Chirinos will face Aaron Luke when we come back.
Do is tweet a photo of your Blue Jays spirit using the hashtag Roman and hashtag Blue Jays contest. For your chance to win, visit bluejays.com/contest for full details. Buck?
That'll be a great trip out to Seattle. It's a weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and one of the rare times Blue Jays are there on the weekend, and there'll be a lot of Blue Jay fans in the house, so make sure you log on and enter that contest. 9-1-2 for the Rangers as Aaron Luke stays in the ball game and delivers a first pitch strike to Robinson Chirinos.
You got the right-hander Chirinos, then lefty Chu, Odor, and Fielder. So John Gibbons is going to leave Aaron Loop in there for his second inning.
Bo Schultz is up for the Blue Jays, starting to get a few more important outings lately. He has thrown the ball well.
Yeah, they're going
coming up,
push him back in the game and in tighter situations later in the ball game. He's got to get this first guy right here. Aaron pitches a little bit differently to right-handers than he does to the left-hander. Against the right-handers, he'll use his fastball and his slider, but he'll incorporate the changeup just a little bit more against the right-hander. Against left-handed batters, it's basically fastball, slider, and he can spot that fastball inside or outside, either way.
It's bounced foul wide of third.
It's always better when you've got three pitchers to get guys out. That's why he's had good numbers against right-handers in the past.
Yeah, you never really know what pitch is going to work for you on a given day. So if you have three, that certainly increases your possibilities for throwing strikes.
Everything has been down. Maybe it's time to elevate, get upstairs, and get a strikeout.
There it is. Another strikeout. Luke has struck out 4 straight Rangers in this weekend series. So there's one out. Back to the top of the order now. Well, Luke coming in firing strikes. We mentioned he struck out Chu and Martin in the ninth to end the game yesterday. Now he has struck out Martin and Chirinos.
Good fastball, 93 miles an hour right there. The last 18 outings covering 14 innings. The opponents are only hitting 167 against Aaron.
I think that's a product of the starters pitching a little better.
Yes.
I think Loop has gotten ample rest, and when he gets his rest, man, he is sharp.
He's sharp. He's sharp with the fastball. He's sharp with the breaking ball.
It's a line drive base hit to left field. That's Chu's first hit in the series. Drew Hutchison started this game. He goes 5 2/3. He has put himself in line for his 8th win of the season, allowed just 4 hits, no runs. Walked 3 and struck out 8.
4 singles. One of them, remember, was that check swing. Base hit by Andrus in the second inning. He had 3 walks. He had 8 strikeouts. And every one of them swinging this afternoon.
Well, Russell Martin has taken a trip out toward the mound and having a quick conversation with Luke. Luke may have tried to throw that last pitch a little too hard and threw it well out of the zone. Chu's single, his first hit in the series. He's 1 for 13 against the Jays over the 3 games. They've done a good job of keeping the leadoff man off base. Odor is 1 for 3 this afternoon. Ground ball past Travis into right. Bautista will get it back in as Chu stopped at second. Back-to-back singles.
This is what they were not expecting. Luke's been good against the left-hander. He's given up back-to-back singles to left-handed hitters, and he gets 1 more.
And now you got to deal with Prince Fielder. In the series, he is 5 for 10. He singled and scored in the 6th. He has scored the only Rangers run this afternoon. Inside off the plate. Fielder has 5 home runs against lefty pitching. He also has a .338 average batting on the road, and he's driven in 31 runs on the road.
Plenty of power. You know, good approach right now, banging that ball the other way.
Stayed inside and tied him up with that fastball. It's a ball on the strike.
I don't know where you pitch him. He's been able to cover that outside pitch and shoot it the other way. You mentioned he's got 5 hits in the series. You can take a chance to come inside, but we saw what happens there. He homered here earlier in this series.
In his first at bat in this series with 2 outs in the first inning on Friday night. That home run he hit on Friday night with his 300th career home run. Bouncing ball, and Encarnacion knocks it down. All hands are going to be safe. Edwin went to his right, got a glove on it, but couldn't make the play on it. So Fielder is aboard. That has loaded the bases. It's a base hit for Fielder. His 6th hit of the season. And here comes John Gibbons. 3 left-handers in a row have singled against Aaron Loup after he struck out Chirinos, the right-handed batter. So the bases are loaded. Loup will hand off to the skipper, John Gibbons, who has called in Bo Schultz. 3-1 Blue Jays, but the Rangers are threatening with the bases loaded. Up 3 consecutive singles. Now he looks for some help from the big right-hander, Bo Schultz.
You mentioned that he's going to pitch in a little bit, as the Blue Jays call it, high leverage situations. And this is one of those high leverage situations. You got the bases loaded in 1 out. He's got a lot of movement on his pitches. Bo Schultz does. A hard sinking fastball and a nice little slider. There are the numbers that he has put up this year. And with that hard sinker, if you can get the ball on the ground, you can get out of this inning. You can get the double play.
Adrian Beltre has gone 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. That all came against Drew Hutchison, the starter. 1 out, bases are loaded. There's that sinker. First pitch grounded to third, and they're not able to turn the double play. Q comes in to score. It's a 1-run game. Beltre picks up the RBI on the fielder's choice, his 19th of the season.
Ball just not hit hard enough. It was on the ground, yes, but just not hard enough to go around the horn. Third to second to first. Donaldson and Travis do everything to try and get that double play, but it doesn't happen. Blue Jays now have a 1-run lead.
Odor is at third. Beltre at first. Mitch Moreland He's had a good series, but he's 0 for 3 this afternoon. 3-2 ball game. Schultz delivers a strike. Moreland has been a good run producer. 24 RBIs on his 17 hits with runners in scoring position. Got a pickoff play on, but Odor was heads up. Donaldson broke as Schultz was delivering the pitch to the plate.
Odor was walking off at third base. You can see him. The pitch before that, he was even further, maybe 5-6 feet further than that. The Blue Jays recognized that, try a little something there to get out of this inning.
Tony Beasley, the third base coach, he had his eyes locked on Donaldson, and when he started to break toward third, he alerted Odor to get back. Beasley from the Pirates organization in his first season as the third base coach. Came along with Jeff Bannister. 1-2, 2 outs. Blue Jays trying to maintain their lead. 3-2 Blue Jays. Hot shot right to the first baseman. Bo Schultz gets out of it. Minimizes the damage. Schultz gets a couple of ground balls to get out of it. Will go to the bottom of the 7th. Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead.
Blue Jays Acura Luxury Suite and join the big leagues. The account executives will find the package that best suits your need. Go to BlueJays.com/luxury suites for more details. A meeting and a ball game. All you need is a hot dog, can of beer, and you're all set, Buck.
Sounds like a good plan to me, Barry. Why not come here to Rogers Center and conduct some business around the baseball game? New pitcher for the Rangers, Spencer Patton, making his 4th appearance of the season.
He was the Royals' 24th round draft pick just 4 seasons ago. He actually came to the Rangers in the Jason Frazier trade last season. He's got good command of the fastball and the slider. Spent the season at AAA, just brought up.
Kevin Pillar tries to bunt it past the pitcher, but Patton's off the mound and makes the play, 1 down.
Swing for the fences and save during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
We are in the bottom of the 7th. It's 3-2 Blue Jays. There's a good pitch on the outside corner. Devin Travis had an RBI double in the 5th. Picked up his 27th ribby of the season. Travis, to me, looks pretty good at the plate since coming back to this ball club. This is just his third game coming off the DL. I think his approach is good. It doesn't look like his timing has suffered much.
He looks different than the one that went on the disabled list, didn't he? He just could not pull that trigger. That shoulder was just bothering him so much.
Well, now he's able to get to that outside pitch, and that was the problem that created so much pain for him in that left shoulder.
He had to start his swing a little bit early. Started striking out a lot more than we saw at the beginning of the season. Because he had to start his swing so early, it became a little bit long. His swing, he was striking out on breaking balls outside the strike zone. Got a double this afternoon and a run scored.
That's a fly ball into center. Martin calls for it, makes the catch. 2 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Colin McHugh on the mound for Houston against Michael Pineda for the Yankees, and they had quite a game yesterday. The Yankees had a 6-0 lead at one point. Houston battled back to tie them at 6-6. The Yankees would eventually win that game. The Yankees came back and won 9-6, and in that game, Brian McCann hit a grand slam home run in the first. His 4th career grand slam home run in the first inning. McCann has 11 career grand slams, and his 4 in the first inning are the most by an active player. 4 first inning grand slams. That's a pretty good job by the catcher to put your pitcher in a good spot, huh? Reyes goes after that high pitch, grounds it softly to second. Good inning for Spencer Patton. 3 up, 3 down. We'll move to the 8th. It's a 1-run game. Steve Delabar will come on to face Elvis Andrus when we come back.
Radio. For daily coverage, headlines, analysis, and schedule, visit sportsnet.ca/Blue Jays or join the conversation at Sportsnet. And right now on sportsnet.ca, great read from Arden Zwelling looking at Devin Travis's journey from T-ball to the bigs. It is a must read. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry. I'm sure that's a very interesting article on Devin Travis. How about Steve Delabar coming into the game? We're in the 8th inning, and Delabar is going to pitch in some important situations himself.
Last time we saw Steve was 4 days ago when he picked up his first save of the season. That was against Tampa Bay, an inning with a couple of strikeouts. His fastball command has been a lot better. He's been using his slider a little bit more, and his split finger fastball is the one that we saw a couple of seasons ago when he was an all-star.
It'll be 6, 7, and 8 for the Rangers here in the 8th inning. Well, one thing that has helped the Blue Jays all afternoon, they've been able to retire the leadoff man. 7 straight innings. There's a ball off the end of the bat. This is going to drop in front of Carrera. He better get on it. Here's a throw to second, and Carrera didn't get over very quickly, and that allowed Elvis Andrus to hustle around first for a leadoff double.
If he catches it on one bounce, he's got a chance at holding him to a single. But Andrus has had a great series. Starts this one off slider. Watch this ball as Carrera bounces once and then twice, and then by then it's just too late. Andrus runs too well. He hustles up to second base with a double.
Leadoff double in a 1-run game. 13th double of the season for the shortstop for Texas. Joey Gallo. Off the end of the bat, they got a shot at third. Donaldson had come off the bag. Delabar does a nice job. Delabar reacted to the ball. It took him toward the third base foul line. He thought about third, but Donaldson had to come off the bag in case the pitcher couldn't make the play.
Yeah, he was off the line anyway. Watch him, and he takes a couple of steps in to go after the ball, and by that time it's too late to get back. They get the play over at third base, so you get an out any way you can.
That's not an easy play for a pitcher. Delabar looked over his left shoulder and saw he had no play at third, but then he turned and fired to first in time to retire Gallo. Now the infield is drawn in for Leonis Martin. He is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Well, there's that good splitter, and you pointed out how good it's been lately.
He has been starting it low in the strike zone, so it looks like a fastball and then late movement.
Foul. 0-2. Delabar has been tough on lefties. They are just 3 for 30. Shows you the importance of that splitter, and his fastball has been better.
His fastball's been much better. He's been able to throw it where he needs to in the splitter. That's the equalizer versus the left-handed hitters.
Big strikeout for Delabar, and he's pumped up.
Trying to keep that runner at third base. Less than 2 outs. He elevates. Heater. Fastball. Upstairs. Not much you can do with that one. And a big strikeout for Steve Delabar. Now he's got to finish it off here with Chirinos.
Chirinos is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Blue Jays have racked up 11 strikeouts this afternoon. Hutchison struck out 8. Loop struck out 2. And now Delabar with a strikeout. Downstairs.
Confidence to throw it. 2-0. Splitter right there. Get back into this count.
$42,376. Another great crowd here at Dodgers 7. 2 balls and his strike to Robinson Chirinos. Delabar delivers in the dirt, blocked by Martin. Blue Jays scored a run in the 4th, 2 in the 5th. The Rangers single runs in the 6th and 7th. Chirinos takes ball 4. So John Gibbons has popped out of the Blue Jays dugout. The runners at the corners.
He's already called for him. He walked out there and called for Osuna. So after the walk to the number 9 batter, John Gibbons is going to go to his closer.
And Delabar gives up a bloop double to start the inning, but then gets 2 outs and a big strikeout of Leonis Martin. The youngster Roberto Osuna will come in with runners at the corners, trying to protect a 1-run lead. Texas going back to school on Osuna.
With the best broadcast team in the business. Jerry Howard, Joe Siddle, and Mike Wilner on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Buck?
Certainly a lot to talk about today on the radio. It's been a terrific ball game, 3-2 ball game. Steve Delabar now looking for some help from his bullpen mate Roberto Osuna, who has last pitched on Wednesday.
Great numbers for Osuna. Blue Jays have been non-committal if this is going to be their closers. I think action's going to speak louder than words. Looks like Osuna's going to be the guy at the end here. So if he's going to close it out, he's got to get 4 outs.
97 right past Chu. Osuna facing the Rangers for the first time. Strikes out.
Yes.
Osuna comes in and strands a pair, protects the 1-run lead. 3-2 Blue Jays. Now time for a Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zong. Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car 17 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Fourth inning, and Chichi Gonzalez had retired 10 straight Blue Jays before Josh Donaldson steps to the plate. Gets that hanging pitch out over the plate, and he deposits it into the bullpen. That's his 18th home run, his 48th RBI, the Blue Jays' first run of the game, and this afternoon's drive of the game.
So Donaldson will step to the plate in the bottom of the 8th inning. New pitcher for Texas is Tanner Scheppers.
Scheppers has a good arm. 3-0 is his record with 498 earned run average. He was the Rangers' #1 pick in 2009. Good fastball, good sinker.
Donaldson drives it to center. Martins, a terrific defender. Made a great throw earlier in the game to gun down Reyes trying to go first to third. Here he takes one away from Donaldson.
Takes good routes. He throws well. He had that one all the way on the backhand. And the slide for the first out. Blue Jays have been shut out since the 5th inning.
First pitch strike to Bautista. Jose is 0 for 2 with a walk. Blue Jays have just 4 hits.
Tell you, I've been impressed with some of these Texas Rangers pitchers. Remember, they've got 4 starters on the disabled list. No Yu Darvish, no Derek Holland out of the starting rotation.
Matt Harrison still on the DL.
They've had some kids come up from the minor leagues and do some good things for them.
Nick Martinez was roughed up on Friday night. Giovanni Gallardo pitched a strong game yesterday afternoon. Bautista out in front of that pitch. Anytime you can quiet the Blue Jay bats, you've done a good job. Bautista called out on strikes. 2 up, 2 down here in the 8th.
You know, it's been the best offense in baseball. It's been the talk of baseball. How many runs the Blue Jays are scoring. That little comeback fastball right on the outside corner. Did you mention Gallardo yesterday and then Gonzalez today? Blue Jays scored 1 in the 2nd, 2 in the 5th, and that's been it.
Edwin Encarnacion 0 for 2 with a walk. The Rangers have out-hit the Blue Jays 8-4. The Rangers have stranded 11. Blue Jays pitchers have done a nice job. Rangers are 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position this afternoon.
Tell you that the hitters have picked up the pitchers a lot this year. Today's a good day for the pitchers to pick up the hitters. Try and finish this one off.
2 balls and a strike to Encarnacion. The Blue Jays, to give you an idea how many runs they have scored this season, they are 2-27 when scoring fewer than 4 runs in a game. 2-27. They have a 3-2 lead here today. He went around. Scheppers and Patton, to 2 relievers, have retired 6 straight. That sets up a 1-run game as we head to the 9th. Odor, Fielder, and Beltre. Osuna back for the 9th.
first one as the Blue Jays host the Rays at 7:07. Get to the ballpark early for our pregame festival outside Gate 10. Gates will open at 4:30, and you can enjoy a live performance by special guest Dean Brody in the licensed area. Go to BlueJays.com for more, and hopefully, guys, by that time, this rain will be gone, and we can actually get some nice summer weather.
If it's not gone by then, we're going to need an arc. Justin Smoke comes in defensively at first base. It takes over for Edwin Encarnacion. It's a one-run game. Roberto Osuna came on to strike out Sin-Shu Chu in the 8th to end that Ranger threat. We got a tough man at the plate in Rougned Odor. 2 hits this afternoon.
This has been the toughest part of the lineup for the Rangers today. Odor's been on a couple of times. Fielder's been on 3 times. And then always dangerous, Beltran.
Odor and Fielder have 4 of the Rangers' 8 hits. Odor's had 5 hits in the series, and Fielder, he's had 6. Boy, Osuna's got a good fastball. Do you like his pitch set up for a closer's role?
Yeah, anytime you throw 97, 98 miles an hour, that's a good place to start, I think, with any closer. Then you combine that with a pretty good changeup. Trevor Hoffman is going to go to the Hall of Fame by throwing a good changeup. And I think his breaking ball is a work in progress. But for just 20 years old, he is mature beyond his years.
Two balls and 2 strikes. There's a line drive to right. Bautista's going to play it off the wall. He plays it perfectly, and Odor has his 3rd hit of the afternoon. Another leadoff double. They got a leadoff double in the 8th, but left him at 3rd.
Tell you, he can hit. Odor, he doesn't miss a fastball either. That one was down, and he can go down and get it. Look how short this swing is. Drops the barrel of the bat on the baseball. An extra base hit.
That's the 6th double of the season for Odor. Elvis Andrus had a leadoff double in the 8th, but he was stranded at 3rd. Osuna struck out Chu to end the inning. This is Prince Fielder. First pitch changeup. You got to believe that Osuna is going to try to heat him up inside with that fastball.
Yep. At some point, we will see Fielder. He's a great power hitter. Got to be careful. Whatever you decide to throw, just be careful.
Good fastball off the plate inside. The home runs Fielder has hit this year, and he's hit 12 of them. They have both been out over the plate. Balls that he's able to extend his arms on. There's a ball driven to left. Carrera coming in, makes the catch. Throw to second is over. The second baseman, Osuna, is right there to back up the play. Fielder hit it hard.
How about Osuna recognizing that that ball is going to be caught? The pitcher, he was going to back up 3rd and then realized the ball was going to be caught and then backed up the throw to second base. Carrera comes in and makes a nice running catch. And in his haste to try and get the runner at second, overthrows the bag, and there's Osuna.
Boy, he's heads up, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He wants that play unfold and moved right in line for that backup. Adrian Beltre is 0 for 4. Picked up an RBI in the 7th on a fielder's choice. Great pitch to start the at-bat.
Here's his slider. That one was 90 miles an hour. 90. With a little break on it at the end. They have had success against Beltre this afternoon by elevating the fastball.
Ball is hit deep to center field. Pilar calls for it, sets up for the throw. Odor tags at second. He'll move to third. But now he's at third with 2 outs. This is quite a departure from a regular Blue Jays game. They have 3 runs on 4 hits. The fewest hits they have recorded in a win this season is 5.
And like you were saying, last inning, trying to win their 3rd game when they score fewer than 4 runs.
Osuna called for Russell Martin to come to the mound. Another sign of his composure.
He's going to lean on the veteran right here. Okay, what have you done today against Moreland? Because they have stifled him. What do you want to do here in this situation?
Moreland is 0 for 4. He came into the game with a 5-game hit streak. When you've got 98, you might as well use it.
Might as well use it. And it's in a good spot. That time they elevated it one more time. It's your best pitch. May as well stick with it.
As we mentioned, the Blue Jays are 0-9 in games with 4 hits or less. Osuna, a 4-out save, his 2nd save of his young career, and the Blue Jays win the series 2-1.
And the pitchers pick up the hitters. Hitters could only get 3 runs, but that's going to be enough this afternoon because Hutchison, Luke, Schultz, Delabart, and now Osuna with the elevated fastball pick up another strikeout. And the Blue Jays win a 1-run game against a very tough Texas Rangers team.
The Blue Jays scored 3 runs. Reyes, Donaldson, and Travis all with RBIs. We'll see you tomorrow night. The Red Sox are here. Thanks for watching. Here's Blue Jays Central. Jamie Campbell and Greg Zorn.